Well, hello there. Welcome to our real estate video blog. My name is Kodi Riddle, the broker and owner of the Kodi Riddle team. Today's topic, we are going to talk about a lease purchase, or commonly called rent to own. That makes a lot of sense when you're talking about furniture or a car, but what does it actually mean when you're talking about a home? My name is Kodi Riddle, and I want to point out a couple of calls to action here on the video blog. If you are looking for a home to sell, you can press the button and get a home value. And if you're looking to purchase a home, you can look at properties just like I do on the MLS. Okay, back to our subject for the day. That is that lease purchase or a rent to own home. Okay, so let's get into just the basics of it. A tenant or the buyer is going to come in and find this home that the homeowner is offering as a lease purchase. And let's say the rent is $1,000 a month, to use simple figures. The tenant is perhaps going to offer $1,200 a month, so the tenant is going to pay above market value for the rent every single month. And in doing so, then a portion of that rent will go towards the purchase when they close on the home, maybe a year later or even up to 3 years later. Really could be any time frame, but anywhere from a year to 3 years is typical, or what I've seen. And they do set the price on the front end. So you're setting the price when you get yourself into this lease purchase. The price is already set. So therein lies one of the pitfalls. How in the world can I set a price for a home today that I'm not going to purchase for another 3 years? You simply can't. We don't know the market. Nobody knows the market. And because that person is doing a lease purchase, they're probably not going to buy with cash in 3 years, so they're going to have to get a loan. Well, with a loan comes an appraisal. And so now you're 3 years down the road. What if it doesn't appraise for that number that you had originally decided on to be the sales price of the home? So that's bad for both the buyer and the seller, because you just have no idea what that's going to be. And I think that makes it hard to plan for really anybody. But anyway, let's go back to the beginning and look where it can be a win-win. For example, a seller is off in another home and they don't want to pay double mortgages, so they can offer their old house, the house they just left, as a lease purchase and get somebody in there. So therefore they're not paying their double mortgages. So that can in fact work. And then the buyer, of course, they get to live in their home, treat it as if it's their own, because they are moving in the direction to eventually purchase it. So that is a win-win for sure. Very, very important to read your fine print. What exactly does that contract say? Because in that you have a tenant that if they can't purchase that home in the end, in the year's time or in the 3 years time, if they can't purchase it, then they are out all that extra money. So they just spent 1 to 3 years overpaying for a rental property and walking away with nothing. That's a tough place to be for any person, especially for somebody that's in a position that is trying to build their credit, for example. So big deal. Then you have another pitfall for both buyer and seller. For the seller, it's that tenant may not be able to even close in the end. So now you're back with a home that you have to put back on the market. However, for a seller, that usually doesn't mean too bad, because they just had a tenant pay 1 year to 3 years time of overpayment for that home. So they usually walk away in a pretty decent spot. But those buyers, I'm going to have to say 9 times out of 10, maybe even 95 times out of 100, they are unable to close after the 1 year's time is up, or even after the 3 years time is up. They underestimate their ability to put themselves in a position to get that credit up and in fact qualify for a loan. So they've spent all that time, all that sweat equity, and overpaying for a home and end up not being able to purchase it. So I'm going to suggest, as a solution to all of this, is simply do a lease with an option to purchase. As a buyer or a tenant, go into the home, pay fair market value for the rental, and ask for the option to buy it when the seller puts it on the market. So there, when the seller comes time to put it on the market, they have to at least give you the option to buy first before they put it on the active market to every buyer. So I think that's your best solution. I wouldn't bother with a lease purchase. Like I said, in the 16 years I've been in this business, very rarely have I ever seen it actually work out. Hope that helps all of you out there. Give us a call if you need to find out if you have to do a lease purchase or have to get into a lease with an option to buy, rather. Or maybe you can just get into a purchase right now. With interest rates the way they are, it's by far in your best interest. Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you.